What's up guys, it's Sean from Tint Warriors, and we're gonna do a quick day in a life on this 4Runner. We're gonna be doing 20 over the existing tint on the two front doors, as well as our Sunset Red Rose Chameleon film on the full windshield. Let's get to it. So we're not gonna scrape the inside of the window because we have existing tint and we obviously don't wanna scrape that off. So we're gonna go ahead with our exterior prep, get the outside nice and clean, and then we're going to just do a towel wipe on the inside of the two fronts. And of course we're gonna take the gasket out of the top edge to make installing a lot easier with bottom loading. Rope on the inside with my dash towel just to get prepped for that. Soapy water. Get that top edge. Whenever these rain guards are on here, I like to wipe the inside edge of that just in case water drips down from the inside and there's dirt out of the windshield. Wipers up. Got the rubber duckies. Rubber duckies. With the water. I'm going to hand cut this. What'd you guys think about the last day in the life video? Let me know in the comments down below now. I'll wait. Still waiting. Okay. All right, inside prep. So we got two screws, one behind the door handle here. Pop that straight back, and then we got one right here. And then this top just pops back. We got to remove the triangle. You don't have to remove any lower screws. We can just pop the top back and not remove the whole door panel. Gasket out. We'll do the same thing on the other side and we'll get to work. Stop playing around. Pop that back. This is all you, Ernie.
Yeah?
Yeah, look, it's you. It's Cat. You know how we set up this appointment? Tint Wiz. You know how we got this lead? Tint Wiz. You know how he sent the proposal? Tint Wiz. Gotta check it out. Link in the description. If you don't know what Tint Wiz is, then you're probably new to this channel, or you just don't pay attention to any of my videos. So remember, this has tint on it, so we can't blade it. You have to inspect it for any debris that could be stuck to the tint. Why did Marco just texted me and said, "Are you in San Antonio this week? LOL." I don't know. What is he saying? That's the most random thing ever. I should FaceTime him on the video. I'm testing out our final version of the shrinkable windshield protection film on a Tesla today. Oh, I guess he wanted me there to help him. All right, let's do it. Squidgy across the top. Spray, squeegee, spray. Brush her out. Peel the liner. See the water dripping from the rain guards. That's why we wipe them. Any dirt that's there will be dripping into the film. Front bottom corner. Hence the bottom loading. Just keep loading, loading, loading. You hear the squeaky tacking. When you put tint on top of tint, it adheres a lot quicker. You gotta move fast, keep the film moving, otherwise it'll prematurely tack. We don't need any premature tackulation. When I do this, I like to line it as close up to the pre-existing material. If I can though, I like to get a slight underhang because if you're overlapping it, high chance of peeling over time. So we have to get that very slight underhang so that it does not have any chances of peeling if you are double layering film. Heat gun with the towel wrapped around the gray lid co across the top. Seal up the top edge. I like to get my top corners with the little chiseler. Roll it up, spray it, squeegee down. Down the sides with the easy reach. And you know what we're gonna do on this other side? The same thing. What is that? This is why. That was a chip in the first layer. You see it? The only thing we can do with that is, you know, the customer's aware that we're putting film on top of existing film. So a lot of the times when customers take off their seat belts, this is good advice for you business owners out there that are doing a lot of cars. If you ever see like little nicks in the windshield across here, across this area specifically, when they take their seatbelt off, usually when they're getting out of the car quick, this guy's an EMT, so he probably does that a lot. You swing it and you hit the glass, and this will put a little nick mark in the tint. Customers think that it's the film failing, but it's actually their seatbelt, and if you show them, let them get in the car and take off their seatbelt and show them where their hand potentially hits the window, and it's usually right where the holes are in the film. Flatten it out a bit, heat it up, and move on. It's only one, so it's not that bad. If it was more than that, then I would definitely tell him that he probably wants to redo the window. Chances of contamination when you're doing tint over tint are a lot higher and they're a lot more visible. You could be seeing like little specks that are in the initial layer, so the least you could do is heat it up and just lightly work out the small imperfections so they don't stand out. Makes the job that much better. I'm not gonna put the screw in yet because my drill is on the other side. I'll put these plastics back on that don't have screws behind them. Spray, squidgy, spray. Wipe the blade, wipe the squeegee, wipe the squeegee, squidgy. I gotta go plant some flowers. If you guys want to donate me some nice designer flowers, I'll gladly take them. You can send them to Shine-Tech Auto Spa in Medford, New York. They have to be very nice flowers for me to plant, and they gotta be perennials. They gotta come back every year. That stuff gets expensive. Squidgy, front to back, overlapping strokes, down the sides. Push into the sides with the gray lid go. If it was tighter, I'd use the Easy Reach. Chisel my nizzle, chisel my nizzle. Down. Long screws goes on the back. Small screw goes behind the handle. This pushes right back on. Bop bop, boop boop, beep beep. Since we're going to be cutting on the glass, I'm going to have to use 1/4-inch white vinyl tape on the windshield. Let's lay this stuff out. 1/4-inch white vinyl tape for a guide and to protect the glass. Start over here. Oh no. I'm gonna go straight over this and then I'll do that part separately. Excuse me. I prefer to put this tape on before the dryer sheet because it doesn't stick that well to the dryer sheet if you're stretching it to go around these corners. Just a little tip there. Although if you do put it on before you put the dryer sheet, it does leave a bit of a residue. I may just leave this perimeter and then cut on the glass around the window, the mirror, the rearview mirror, just very lightly though. It's really hard to control your blade pressure when you're cutting around the whole windshield. But let me just do it around the mirror. I'll just use a fresh blade, do it very light, reduce the amount of obstacles on the glass. This is gonna be the Sunset Red Chameleon. Get it from windowtintsupplies.com in bulk. We only have 10 rolls of this left in stock, so if you want it, recommend to get it. Woo! See, now I try not to press too hard because I don't want to cut through the white vinyl tape. That's why you just heard that rip noise. That is the film cutting on the line I just cut. It's a good thing, because I didn't puncture all the way through. Tackaroonie. Use that on another car. I'm gonna cut out the mirror after I shrink it. I'm gonna keep the heat moving. If you heat up an area of the Chameleon too much, too fast, with high heat, you'll end up causing specks. It looks like specks of dirt, but the glue is actually blistering from the heat. So you wanna keep it moving around. shrink it up. You gotta shrink it up. Don't you know, shrink it up. You gotta get Tint Whiz. If you don't have Tint Whiz, then you are a loser. Tint Whiz it up. You're not a loser. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. This world is too woke for them lyrics, boy.
D.I.Y. Sean from Tint said I was a loser.
Let me stop before I get canceled. Beautiful shrink, mate. So once I cut the perimeter, I like to squeegee the perimeter to remove any contamination that might drip into the film when I lift the liner up. So I'll go like this, around, bring it around town. Then I'll peel the liner. We're gonna reverse roll this, so I'm gonna take the bottom corner, fold it up to the top. I'll take the top corner, bring it up to the center. We don't want that to fall onto the film, so put my bottle down, because this is the outside of the film. I don't want that to touch the glue side of the film. If you catch what I'm saying, there you go. It's like a weird angled windshield. Like it's high, but it's not like a truck. But it's not low. It's not low like a car. You know what I mean? Get rid of all the air. That way our material stays flat. The same thing here. Majority of the top and the sides. The bottom won't drip into the bottom. You know, gravity and stuff. And we can roll this up from the passenger to the driver's, because where we end is where we're going to start. So I want to start laying it on the driver's side. So we're going to start rolling it up from the passengers to the driver's. Leaving the dryer sheet on while you're installing the film creates like a blurred vision, and you don't know what's contamination or what's on the outside. Lay the film like so. I always take my watch off, because if the watch hits the glass, it's going to scratch. Scrapey, scrapey. Bulldozer, paddle, scrubber, orange crush, side swiper. Take the mirror off. It's a T20 Torx tip. Just loosen it a bit. Remove the plastic on the top. Plug it. Aftermarket T-harness here for something. Take our rope. Put these duckies in the back seat to make sure we don't get any water dripping down on the computers. And it's an aftermarket window, so this is pretty tight. Now we'll cover the dash with the dash towel. WindowTintSupplies.com. Anytime you go over those etchings on the glass, you want to replace your blade, because that dulls it out right away. Really want to scrub these dots up very good too. Sometimes the Chameleon doesn't stick that well to it, especially if it's an aftermarket window. And the perimeter. Spray, squeezy, spray. Get the liner to stick to the roll. Peel off the sticky side of the film. Start rolling it out. The liner sticking to the back. Start to position our driver's side. I'm gonna bring it down into place as best as possible and as far to the driver's side as you can. Not going too far to scrunch it up, and we'll work our way to the center, laying it down as we go. Take the liner off, line up around the mirror. I have to bring it down to do this. And then once we get it around the mirror, we can slide it back up and into position and go the rest of the way. Voila. Pulling it a little bit to the driver's side to give some space, and then back to the passenger side. I'll start to tack it down with my yellow turbo around the mirror, because this is usually where the dirt drips down first. So if we lock that in, no water can drip down between the film and the glass, and we'll get no contamination there. Wiping the blade after each stroke, because once you go into the side here, you can be pulling out dirt. Now if we're not going all the way into the side, we can just do passes and not have to wipe the blade. But if you ever hit the side of the film or the bottom edge, make sure you wipe it after. We'll do another pass, and then we'll go across the bottom with the side swiper. It is a lot thicker than regular window tint, so it does have the tendency to curl off of the sides if it's not prepped properly, or if it's not squeegeed out properly. Then once we're done with the water, I'll take the rope out so it doesn't drip down past the rope. And then I'll push out the top edge for any moisture so it doesn't drip down between the film and the glass. Now I'm gonna start the car, put the defrost on, and let the hot air blow up. So you see how the vent's right here? If the vent's not there and the air comes up from under the windshield like it does on Teslas, you do not want to use the defrost right after you tinted it because it'll cause the tint to curl off and it'll blow off the window. So only use the defrost right after tinting if the vent is displaced about 2 inches away from the bottom edge of the glass. Otherwise, you'll learn. All right, now that we have everything cleaned out of the vehicle, the only thing we have to do is put the mirror back on. Not only do we have the heat running on the inside, but we're gonna post heat on the outside to make sure the perimeter is fully cured, especially with the Chameleon. If you look closely over here, if you wanna go on the other side, you can see a finger popping up there. The T-harness up here, so I'll plug that in, plug the mirror in, I'll slide this on, cover back, and then I'll screw it back in. Just hand tight, you don't want to over tighten it. So for the ones on the top, you can actually heat it up from the inside. But if there's any fingers on the sides, then you got to heat that up from the outside. You want to be really careful of the headliner, not to burn that. And never heat up on the dot matrix. The reason I close the door forces it to heat up the windshield. So we heat up the dot matrix really good, and then I'll hit it from the inside with the yellow turbo squeegee. This process could take up to 10 minutes if you do it, especially if it's cold. You really want to do this with the Chameleon film because you don't want to risk the chance of it curling after the customer leaves, even if it's hot out. Just give it a nice hot tack around the perimeter. It should be really warm to the touch when you touch the glass. We've noticed this specifically with aftermarket windows. There may be like silicone around the perimeter that stops the tint from adhering properly.
A few moments later.
Dot matrix with the yellow turbo, both sides. Well, quick day in the life. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something. We did the Chameleon on the front windshield. You learned that you have to post-heat the perimeter and post-heat the dot matrix really well to get them to tack properly. And you also want to squeegee multiple times on the inside to get as much water between the film and the glass out. And when you're tinting 2 front doors that have existing aftermarket tint, you do not want to scrape the windows. You just want to scrub them as much as you can with the towel to make sure they're as clean as possible. We'll see you guys in the next video. Go get yourself tint whizzed. Go tint yourself. Go tint yourself.